Hi, I'm Stu Davies, Ocean Caring Digital Strategist. This podcast dives into the real stories behind ocean caring brands and organisations. Welcome to A Drop in the Ocean. Each episode explores the wins, challenges and lived experiences of those working to protect our seas, from grassroots campaigners to global initiatives. But it's more than just those stories. We're also going to connect these change makers with marketing, communications, AI, storytelling and strategy experts to share their insights and help us all amplify our missions. One drop in the ocean becomes many. Let's make some waves together. Welcome to the latest episode of A Drop in the Ocean, the podcast amplifying ocean caring voices. So I'm very excited about this week's guests. We have Team Nautilus, who I was struggling with how to pigeonhole you. I ended up writing adventuring campaigning scientists.
Nice.
And you were doing an amazing expedition to row around the UK. And with me, I've got Aoife Luscombe and Becky Parker from the crew joining me remotely. Hi, both of you.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thanks. So please, can you explain or describe what it is you're doing, the story behind an incredible expedition and what you're hoping to achieve?
Yeah, sure. So I guess first and foremost, what we're doing is a race. So we're racing round the Great British coastline during June 2026. It's a rowing race, but it's a rowing race with kind of a purpose or a bit of a difference. So we're using the race itself, which is GB Row Challenges race, but we're also collecting environmental data as we're rowing round. So we're collecting environmental samples for eDNA, so the DNA left behind by things in the water. We're also collecting microplastics to then understand if there's a kind of synergy between where we're finding the most biodiversity and plastic pollution. And then we're also collecting information on the temperature, the salinity and bioacoustics as we're rowing around as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you said it's Becky, it's a race. Explain that bit to me.
It is. So we're actually going for the world record as well for the mixed team. So that's currently 49 days. So if we're blessed with weather, we might even get a world record. But we're rowing 2,000 miles, circumnavigating Great Britain. And we're doing that by rowing. We have a crew of 6 of us, and 3 of us will row at a time. So 3 of us will row for 2 hours, and then we have 2 hours off. I say off kind of with some quotations there because we'll be eating, we'll be trying to sleep, get as much sleep as we can. We'll be collecting those samples that Aoife talked about. Aoife will be doing, because she's our skipper, she'll be doing a lot of the navigation, a lot of the comms checks. So I don't know quite how much sleep and rest we'll be having, but we'll be doing a lot of rowing.
Wow. I mean, that's just incredible. What I'd like you both to do is just to introduce yourself as well. And there's a question I ambush my guests with. I don't send them in advance. I'd like you to share with us your fondest ocean memory too.
Cool. I guess I can go first. I'm Aoife. So I, first and foremost, am kind of like a sustainability consultant. So I work in kind of London doing that for big companies. But alongside that, I also row quite competitively at Twickenham Rowing Club, which is really fun. But my love is near the ocean. Unfortunately, I have to be positioned in London for work, so get to the water somewhere. But I guess my favourite ocean memory is definitely the summers I spent as a child off the coast of the west of Ireland, basically doing anything you can think of, kayaking, sailing, swimming, getting turfed out by waves while surfing all along the west coast, which is definitely, one of the formative memories when I was like 6 or 7. From then on, fell in love with the sea.
Thanks for sharing that memory. Good surf, west coast of Ireland. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
And Becky?
Hi, I'm Becky. I'm an environmental consultant. So I don't work with oceans directly. I work with peatlands, but I have a passion for them. I've never done an ocean row, but I have sailed a fair amount and I have rowed before. So I'm hoping those two will help me. I did a multi-month event last year, so I did a 500-mile trek across Scotland, and I really wanted to find a team event this time, and I found Aoife on Explorers Connect, and it just seemed like the perfect fit because we've got such a great team. We've got Kit, Kenza, another Becky, believe it or not, Matt, and then Aoife and I. And my favourite ocean memory would be from childhood. So my dad was a professional skipper back in the day, and he taught me and my brother how to sail. So I've got lots of lovely memories of sailing dinghies with my dad.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. So, Aoife, what inspired this journey? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so I guess this journey is a combination of a number of years for me. Way back in 2022, I went to a talk about GB Road Challenge. So what we're doing is part of a wider kind of project or scheme of boats, all looking to circumnavigate the UK and collect the data. So in 2022, I went to a talk which was given by the previous year's crew called Team Albatross about their journey. And kind of thought, well, this coincides with my day job, i.e. sustainability consultant, working in planet advocacy type work, but also what I do for a hobby. When I'm not at work, I row along the rivers. Wouldn't it be great if I could combine these two things and make a team? So I put my name down as an interest on the list, and was luckily chosen to be in a team called Team Sea Change, where we set off from Towerbridge in June 2024. Unfortunately, due to weather that year and other things that went a bit awry with the trip, we only made it to the north coast of Cornwall. So that was 2024. Came out of that, obviously, absolutely gutted. We weren't able to complete the trip, but also we weren't able to gather the whole coastline's worth of data, and was like, okay, feeling a bit gutted, and then got onto dry land. 2 months after that was like, well, no, I'd like to go again. So need to put a new team together, need to try again. And then, just started reaching out to equally awesome humans and was just wondering who else is mad enough to try something like this. And luckily, our whole team came forward.
Wow, brilliant story. I mean, I am a sailor, and, I've sailed the English Channel in choppy waters, but I thought, when it came across my desk, I was like, rowing around the UK. Becky, why rowing around Great Britain? What's the mission behind that expedition?
So we've kind of touched on this. It's not only an adventure, it's also that kind of mission to collect vital environmental data. So as Aoife said, we're collecting a number of different things, so microplastics, eDNA, and the rest. We're collaborating with the University of Portsmouth, so GB Row and the University of Portsmouth, so that this data is being processed by PhD students and professors and will hopefully impact policy. So the data we're collecting isn't just for the sake of it, it's actually data that would be prohibitively expensive to collect. So if there weren't mad people like us who were going to row around Great Britain, it would be very hard for universities and individuals to be collecting this data. So it's nice to be part of something that is doing good whilst also challenging us. Yeah. And also it's an opportunity to advocate for ocean health as well.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's worth digging into that a little bit. You're collecting data to help contextualize policy decisions. So, for instance, microplastics in the ocean environment presumably would be used for organisations to speak to MPs, lobby groups, etc. about.
Yeah.
I don't know, the plastic deposit scheme that we're still waiting for.
Exactly. Yeah, that like you hit the nail on the head there. It's exactly that. It's kind of like. And so the data, although kind of synthesised by the University of Portsmouth, owned by GB Row Challenge, it actually is an open source level of data. And the fact that it's 5 years now of this data collection really means that we get that picture built up. We can layer it on top with the biodiversity and also temperature, which then creates this whole picture. And it's not just about the coastline, right? It's also about what's happening on land, which then filters through to the seas and the impact it's having there.
Yeah, wow. I mean, yeah, it's so brilliant just to contextualise the arguments and the debates and to see what's happening. Yeah. What does the ocean mean to you personally? And I'd like to pull this out. So, Aoife, if you'd like to go first.
I guess, first and foremost, it was always a place where I had a lot of fun. with all the other sports, when you fall off things, you hit hard concrete or ice, which generally results in an injury. Water doesn't do that for me. But also I think the ocean to me is kind of a life source on the planet. It's where 2/3 of the oxygen we breathe comes from. It's got a plethora of amazing wildlife, and running around the UK last year definitely saw some of that. The dolphins, the seals, even the wild seabirds and stuff. Absolutely incredible. So I think there's just so much opportunity out there, and it's so vast. It needs to be protected, yes, but it also needs people to shout for it and people to recognise how amazing it is.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. And Becky, what does the ocean mean for you?
Very similar. I mean, Aoife said it very eloquently there. I think it has inherent value beyond what it can provide for us as humans or anything like that. I think in itself it has inherent value, and for me it's a source of peace. It's my happy place. I live by the coast, so after a long day I just go down to the beach and just feel all of my worries absolutely melt away. So I don't think you can put a price tag on anything like that, and I think it should be completely protected as much as we possibly can.
Yeah. A friend of mine said to me just today, and she commented about the ocean is ancient. I haven't really kind of thought about it in that. So it's an old thing. It's been around for a long time. Obviously, there's a cycle of replenishment, and it's a very ancient
being, I guess.
Gestalt entity, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, Aoife, what's been the toughest part of getting to this point of where you are now?
I guess the toughest part for me was, stepping off the boat last year and then being like, oh, we didn't make it. Comes with the highs and lows. But this project specifically, I think one of the toughest things for us as a team is kind of getting together and getting the weather right to be able to go out on the boat. The boats themselves, because they're so big, they do act like a sail themselves, and we've only got human power to move them. So it means that we need kind of not perfect, but like lower wind conditions than you would for sailing, to get out and about. So I think that's been a real challenge to get we all work day jobs, we all have normal kind of life happening. So it's getting the time together as a team. And then the weather right on top of that to be able to train. But I think the team themselves, I think as soon as we formed, and I think the last member of our team was Matt, who came along. As soon as we formed, I was like, oh yeah, this is quite solid. So no comms from the team, but definitely getting together and finding time has been a challenge, I think.
Right, wow. And Becky, what are you most looking forward to or dreading on the road?
Good question. What I'm most looking forward to is seeing the British coastline from a completely different perspective. I'm really looking forward to that, seeing, all of the nature that Britain houses, that Britain calls its home. I think being part of a great team, I'm really looking forward to. I'm really not surprised, but I'm very happy how quickly we've gelled, how much we're already a great team. I'm looking forward to sharing jokes and having a laugh at midnight while we're rowing and we're up in the coast of Scotland. I think what I'm dreading is quite an easy answer, because we don't have a toilet on board.
I was going to ask, how do the heads work on that?
So we do have a bucket. I don't know how much you want me to go into this, but it's quite a confined space there, and
it's a bucket system.
We'll be doing our business in front of everyone.
Right.
So I'd say
you're really going to get to know each other.
Yeah, we'll get to know each other pretty well, pretty quickly, I'd say.
Right. Wow. And what happens if it does get rough weather? The weather in the UK is often rough. What happens in this scenario? Is there a support boat? Are you?
Yeah, so I guess no support boats. So the world record kind of track, as you would call it, is unsupported. So in order to try and aim for that, we will be unsupported, which means we won't have a support boat, so no one's going to deliver us any food or snacks. So we need to take them all with us.
Wow.
We'll create our own water on the boat. We've got a desalinator.
Wow.
But it also means that we won't be able to go into marinas. So no land-made obstacles will we be using to shelter. So luckily, the coastline does have a fair number of coves and interesting nooks and crannies.
Yes.
So when the weather gets rough, we'll probably be using those quite a lot to have safe harbour and have anchorage in those. But yeah, for the most part, we'll be out on our own. If it gets really dicey and we can't make it into a suitable location to kind of shelter, we do have a fair number of safety devices on board. So we've got what's like a power anchor, which will keep us in one sea space at a time. It's basically a big parachute you chuck underneath the boat, and it kind of holds you so that hopefully there's no rolling about in the waves. And likewise, if it gets really dicey and we still want to continue rowing because the weather's with us, but there's a chance of capsize, we have something called a drogue, which basically extends the length of your boat so that you prevent that chance that you might capsize. So there's ways around it, but yeah, for the most part, we'll be out there on our own for the best part of 50 days.
Wow. I mean, yeah. So there's a real element of, there's always an element of risk when you go in the ocean, but that's pretty something else. All right. Fantastic. So that's the end of part 1. Part 2, we're going to come back and we're just going to talk about some of the storytelling and the messaging behind this fantastic adventure. You're listening to A Drop in the Ocean, the podcast that brings together ocean changemakers and digital communications experts, helping us all amplify our impact. If you've got a story to tell, or you're a digital communications expert who loves the ocean, then I would love to hear from you all. Get in touch with me on stu-davies.com. Let's all amplify our impact. Welcome back to A Drop in the Ocean. With me, I've got the amazing Team Nautilus, who are going to be rowing around the entire UK non-stop unsupported. So you've got a really powerful story and a mission. I'd really love to know how you're currently getting this out in the world. That to Aoife.
Yeah, I guess first and foremost, it's people, whether that be through work, whether that be through events, just trying to increase the amount of people who know about this, because it's a challenge that happens every year. So the more people we can get behind it. There's obviously an ocean rowing community which do sea crossings, but they haven't not heard of this one as much. And then we've been using stuff like either this podcast is great, but there's also kind of like Instagram, Facebook, your usual social media routes, and then traditional kind of media as well. We've been reaching out to them as well.
Okay, so very much you've gone to almost your own community first, where you'll get the early adopters, you'll get people to share the message, and then you're using digital tools to help kind of spread some of that reach. Are you doing anything in terms of targeting media, different angles of you're getting your message and story out? That for Becky?
Yeah, I think it's still quite early on. So we're definitely going to be doing more of that as we train over the next 10 months or so during our row, all of that. I think we'll be definitely reaching out with the story around protecting our oceans, what we can do to advocate for them, whether we can inspire the general public to do more, whether that's take up citizen science projects, whether that's advocate with their local government bodies or their local organisations, and really try and promote positive impact. We'll be collaborating with 3 charities as well, the first of which we'll be announcing soon, and they work directly to tackle plastic pollution. So they also do advocacy work around that, approaching schools and things like that. So I think working with charities and people like yourself to really promote what we're doing, to really use this as a jumping board to try and inspire positive change as much as we can.
Brilliant. Aoife, what stories provide some of the most compelling marketing material? And you guys have got a brilliant story. But what approach are you going to take about the storytelling, and what type of content and messaging do you think is resonating, or have you seen that's resonating so far?
Yeah, I think it's, although we're first and foremost, we've got 4 scientists on the boat, and obviously an ex-army guy and a paramedic as well. But I think it's just us being human. none of us are specialists in our field per se, but we're all really keen to get our voices out there and get heard. So I think the stuff that's definitely got the most traction is us messing around on the boat, and having fun generally as the six of us, but also weaving into that the community outreach that we all are doing or want to do. So I know that like Kit and I are going to go and do a beach clean with some guys next week, and that kind of stuff really does just generate a lot of buzz. People ask us, hey, what is this t-shirt you're wearing? And yeah, it gets that conversation started, and then we can start to weave in other coastal communities, where we're going, what we're aiming to achieve as well.
Brilliant. I really like that. And in a world where digital and AI, and we can get so lost in some of the technology, it's the human resonant conversations which are having the most traction, and I think a lot of people trying to do things to campaign or to get messaging out there forget that a little bit. So Becky, what kind of support or visibility would make the biggest difference to your mission, do you think, right now?
I think, like Aoife said, we are building that community. So anything that supports creating, maintaining, and working with a community would be brilliant. Things like this, reaching out to specific groups, specific charities like we are, anything and everything that we can do to increase visibility.
So your main thing, is reach. You just want people to talk about it, to share social media posts, to can they sign up to an email or anything like that? Are you using any?
I believe that is coming very soon. So yeah, I think if they go towards our website, there is a area where you can put in your email and say, I'd like to hear from you guys. And we'll be publishing kind of like a monthly update of what we're doing. And then as it gets closer cadence to our set off point, there'll be almost like a skipper's blog coming out.
Yeah.
More often.
Right. And the website address is?
Nautilus Rowing.
nautilusrowing.co.uk or .com?
.co.uk.
So I've got a question. Is there going to be comms during the rowing? Is it an opportunity to tell stories about what's happening when you're actually there?
Yeah, definitely. And I think those are almost the most powerful of what's happened today, what have we all eaten. Yeah. I think communicating with our teams on land is as important as doing the actual row itself. Yeah. So yeah, by all means, it may not be daily because we may not have signal for that, but there'll definitely be more and more content coming through over the course of while we're out there, even if it's just updating on what's happened with the bucket. Yeah. Not too many details though.
No. And how will people be able to follow that?
That will be through the Instagram, which is Nautilus_GBRow.
Okay.
That will be the best place. And we'll have a tracker up there as well, so you can see if we're coming to a coastline near you.
Okay, brilliant. And Becky, any lessons, surprises, campaigns, takeaways so far that might help other ocean advocates or amazing adventuring projects that you've learned that someone's doing this again? Certainly we're getting the messaging out there.
Yeah, I think reach out to everyone. It seems a simple answer, but really that is the best way, because in that way you're creating community, you're creating opportunities for yourself and your team and your project, and you never know what that person might say. They may run a podcast like this. They may be wanting to start a grassroots initiative that helps the ocean in some way. They may be in the middle of a citizen science project that you want to be a part of. So I think talking to everyone, having those lovely conversations about what you can do to collaborate together and really build each other up, because it's not only about your project, you're also working with lots of amazing humans out there, and they may also need some more visibility. They may need your help with something. So yeah, work together and keep trying. Keep doing it.
Okay, yeah, that's really wonderful advice. And Aoife, just if someone's listening and they one thing that they can do to help you guys right now, what would that be?
I think it's like Becky said, get our name out there. If you want some interesting dinner conversation, bring us up. I think we really want to foster that community and grow what we're trying to do, and inspire others to even come along to a beach clean that will be at near you. So just reach out, contact us if there's anything that you think we could be doing a bit better. Also, we're open to kind of advice and opportunities that way as well. So I think the best way to reach us is probably through our Instagram handle. We look at those messages quite regularly. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
just reach out.
I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing. I think it's wonderful. I think it's brave, and I think it's fantastic, and I think it's impactful. I was very excited when this came across my desk, and even more stoked when you agreed to be on the podcast. And I'll certainly be monitoring your journey, and wish you all the best. But for now, thank you very much, and wish you all the best for your amazing adventure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to A Drop in the Ocean, the podcast that brings together ocean change makers and digital communications experts, helping us all amplify our impact. New episodes will be available from your streaming platform of choice. Please do like, comment and share, and help us spread the message. See you next time.